there's a lot of terms under the powers of attorney. But let's just start with the financial one. What can the financial power of attorney do?
Well, I mean, the principal is the person that grants the power of attorney. So the client that's giving the POA out to the agent, the Pennsylvania statute, it has a very comprehensive list of, I would say, anything that you can do yourself. And if I think about that for a moment, I say, if I'm in a car accident tonight and I go to York Hospital and my wife needs to be me financially, she needs every power that exists because we don't know what's going to come up. It could be
Yep.
sell a car, sell a house, deal with banks, deal with financial institutions, deal with the IRS. I mean, it is a huge, broad array of powers. If you trust the person, and hopefully you're not naming somebody you don't trust, that broad array of powers, I think of as a positive thing.
Yep.
Um, that's sort of I call them everyday mundane powers. We, and then Damien's heard me sort of sound silly. We have these other powers we call superpowers,
Yep.
or people refer to them as hot powers, and they're sort of above and beyond these everyday mundane powers, like making gifts,
Yep.
or retitling assets or altering beneficiary designations. And you think, wow, if I'm sick, do I want my power of attorney to pay my bills? Sure. Do I want my agent under power of attorney to gift my money away while I'm alive? I come out of the coma and my money's gone. Do I want my agent under power of attorney to retitle my house, to
Yep.
retitle my car? Do I want my agent under power of attorney to change a beneficiary on my life insurance policy that I designated? Those are major powers. That's why they're superpowers.
Yep.
So I like to separate that when I talk to clients into, here are these everyday things you got to give out. And then there's these other things that as a state or elder law attorneys, we like to have them in our toolbox.
Yep.
So because there's reasons that we want those superpowers. It could be that we're protecting money from a nursing home. It could be that we're protecting money from inheritance tax.
Yep.
And those powers can make us nimble and can make us use strategies that we would be telling the client what to do, but the client can't participate, right? Because they're incapacitated. So those are really important discussions on the amount of trust that you give the agent and how much leeway you want to give as to these superpowers. Now, I feel like we do a nice job of handcuffing the superpowers.
Yep.
So I can say that I give my wife the ability to gift my assets away from me, but she can only gift them to her and my children.
Yep.
Right. So if she meets the pool boy, she's not giving them to the pool boy. So I think we do a nice job, and I've worked with Damien on this a lot, of talking through the superpowers, but using the superpowers in ways that were still semi-protected.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that was a good way to put it initially, Mac, is, I think the power of attorney gets this. Some people think, right, it's scary to say, hey, I'm going to let Mac act in my wait. And you think it through. It's like, wait a second, he can do it, right? But if you can't do it, you need someone to operate your everyday life, right? It's a bigger risk to not have that document than to have the document. And I think having that conversation with you is excellent. Of this is, again, having some ability to limit those superpowers, but there are times when those superpowers, they're super, right? To be corny, and you want them to be available. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, and we have other times, interestingly, where someone doesn't have someone in their life that can do this.
Yep.
And there are agencies out there. There's professionals that can act for a fee,
Yep.
that can help people out. The other thing you made me think of, Ben, was this idea of a springing power of attorney. And I do have people, like Damien said, that, wait a second, so Damian Lynch can just get into my bank account and he could sell my house and all these things. And you say, yeah, that's sort of the purpose of it. You say, well, could he do that when I'm not sick? And that's what Damien used the term durable power of attorney, that the power of attorney is live when you sign it. One of the things we tell clients is, if you're perfectly fine, my parents are 80 years old right now. I'm an agent under the POA financially. It's at their house.
They actually trust you, Mac.
They actually do.
All right, all
But
right.
so I don't have custody of the document, right? So now I know where the hidden key is at their house and I can go get it. But we tell people, maybe if you're perfectly fine, you tell the children where it's located.
Yep.
Because if they can't find it, what's the purpose of the whole thing? But they don't have access to it, can't use it until you need them to.
Yep.
That's, I think, a good approach. Now, I have some very nervous Nellies that are like terrified, and you wonder why they're naming somebody if they're so terrified, but everybody's different. And they want to use what's called a springing power of attorney. And that springing power of attorney says, these people are not handling my affairs until I become incapacitated. And there's very bold language in the document that that the agent has to produce an affidavit from a doctor.
Yep.
That the person's been declared incapacitated. And they got to do it every 6 months. We can even build it that you got to get it from 2 doctors. And so in my experience, having dealt with that, doctors are busy and they don't like signing affidavits, and that could take 4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
So the risk of having that kind of POA is nobody pays your bills for 6 weeks while we wait for the doctor to sign the affidavit.
Yep.
So you have to weigh those things.
And I think and we'll try to jump off to the next topic then too, but just a note there for, right, when someone has a power of attorney from our side, right? So Mac's drawn the power of attorney up for somebody, and someone just tells us, the son calls in and says, hey, I'm power of attorney. We can't do anything. That telling us that means nothing, right? We need, as our firm, to get that physical document signed by not only the person who granted the power, but then also, and I had a conversation with Mac on this just recently,
right,
that also the person you are granting that power to, the agent, correct me if I'm using the terms right, has to have signed that document as well, accepting that power. So you can tell us on the phone. So it's important, again, for clients listening, that if you want us to have a power of attorney, just telling us you have it doesn't help us. We need the physical document here in order to actually use it. And again, it has to be signed by not only the person granting the power, but the person accepting the power has to acknowledge that as well, or else, again, it's useless.
Yeah, and I know you want to get off this topic, but one last thought on that. That the agent signs an acknowledgement. That's what Damien's referring to, that I often refer to it as I won't lie, cheat, and steal, basically. But that acknowledgement need not be notarized or witnessed.
Yep.
So the individual granting the power, what I call the principal, their signature is witnessed and notarized, right, when we create the POA.
Yep.
And I often tell people, you don't have to give it to your son yet. You're perfectly fine. Keep it at your house. Tell him where it is in case something bad happens, and he can sign it in the future.
Yep.
Maybe he never uses it and never signs it. That signature, no notary, no witness, he's off and running.